What is up, all you rockin' rad resellers? It's your boy Flippin' Stoop. First video of the day. I'm gonna jump right into this. When I first started reselling, right, for example, I thought the little things didn't matter, right? I thought like, well, it's not going to matter if I hit my number today. It's not going to matter if I wait till this evening to respond to my customer. It's not going to matter if I don't answer this offer until later. It'll be okay. But what I realized the further along I get into reselling, and just life in general, is everything matters. Right now, I don't want you to think about this if you're just starting out today because you'll overwhelm yourself and you'll cripple yourself like I did for the first year. See, this is kind of something, to think about when you're first starting, but more for the reseller that's been doing it for a while or whatever. Everything matters, and everything creates habit, right? That's factual in life, regardless of what you do. If you hit the snooze button in the morning, that matters. You're procrastinating your day, right? It's bottom line. If you've hit the snooze button, I would imagine everybody in this group, everybody on YouTube, has done it once or multiple times. But why I say everything matters, why your systems matter, why your daily routine matters, why your listing habits matter, because that's exactly what they become as a habit after time, and then you don't even have to think about doing them, and you just do them because it builds a habit within you that you feel wrong if you don't do that habit, if you don't follow through with that habit. So my opinion on eBay is everything matters, right? Now I'm not saying, like I said, I don't want to cripple you resellers that are just thinking about it or just starting, that you got to have everything perfect, because that would contradict the video I made a couple days ago and some of it that I made yesterday. I'm not saying that you need everything perfect in the beginning, all right? Don't be a perfectionist, because all a perfectionist is, and I've been a perfectionist 90% of my life, that's insecurities, right? Why do we worry about everything in the beginning of reselling? Because we're insecure that we're not going to make it, right? It's some type way, shape, or form that it's an insecurity that my one item isn't going to matter. And you got to get out of that thought process. Everything does matter. Your one item does matter. If you say you're going to do 10 items today and you only do 8 items, that does matter. That's going to affect you for months to come, because it's going to build a habit of where not every day do I got to hit my number. Not every day do I got to do what I say I'm going to do. And that's going to form laziness and procrastination. And if you're procrastinating your entire journey on eBay, you're going to make it miserable for yourself, right? And we've all done it. I've done it myself. I've been guilty of it myself numerous times. You guys and girls, when I'm making this video content, I'm not pointing a finger at you. I'm literally sharing my experiences on eBay that I went through. So I can relate with everything I'm talking about, okay? Everything. Because in the beginning, I thought, well, the inventory system ain't going to matter. Why did I think that? Because I thought somewhere deep down in the back of my head that this wasn't actually going to work for me anyways, right? I already had limited beliefs on myself. And I think that topic is so important, our limiting beliefs. This is what keeps most people at a 9-to-5. They cannot stand for their entire life to retire with a pension that they can barely make it, right? It is just their limiting beliefs, because there's not a single soul that can go to a 9-to-5 that can't build a business. Not a single soul. I've never met one, right? Now, maybe some would be more advanced in different areas than others, but everybody could do something to be self-employed. It don't even got to be reselling, but we are on a reselling journey. And I do believe eBay is one of the easiest platforms to get started on and to start learning business savvy, motions, habits, rituals, learning how things work, right? So, if I've ever said this doesn't matter on eBay or that doesn't matter on eBay, I was madly mistaken. Now, there's certain things that I don't use on the eBay platform. There's certain tools I don't use, and I don't get any benefit out of them. Why? Because I don't use them. I do the basics. I do my photos. I list my items. I do the item specifics to the best of my ability. Which I got better at throughout time, and you will too, right? Your first listing, you might not know what the hell anything is. Or do the best you can. One thing I learned is don't lie about it. Don't fill in an item specific because you think that if you don't, it's not gonna sell, and you filled out the wrong item specific, because then you don't know where it's gonna be, you don't know what it's gonna look like. Somebody might view your listing and be like, "What the hell is this? This isn't even that, right?" So if you can't, if you don't know the item specific, don't put it in, right? Don't just guess. Don't do that. I've done that in the past, and the item sat forever, right? So don't do that. But it is everything you do throughout your day, from the time you wake up till the time you go to bed. It all matters, right? I've been using the gym analogy a lot. Think about it. There's not a single soul that can't wake up 45 minutes early to go to the gym for 30 minutes. I don't know anybody that can't do that, right? And we all know our health's important, but what do we tend to do? We value sleep more, or Netflix more, or our downtime or whatever, more than we do our health. And that's truthful. Most people value their free time, or their sleep habits, or their I call it waste of time habits, right? Your Netflix, binge watching Netflix for fucking an entire weekend, and you get nothing out of it, right? What do you get out of that? Literally, what do you get out of binge watching Netflix for an entire weekend? And I'm not knocking you if you do that, right? I've been guilty of that one too. I've done it myself. I've sat and watched the entire season of The Walking Dead in a fucking week, right? This is before I was doing eBay, of course, but so everything you do throughout your day matters. If you plan the day ahead for the day to come. For example, if you have a hard time of getting to the gym in the morning because you want to go to sleep, right? Now, if your shoes are downstairs and your shorts are in the drawer, or your joggers are in the drawer, and your keys are over here, and everything you got to do is scattered all over the place, well, that's not helping you get to the gym, right? Instead, what do they tell you? Put your gym shoes under your bed. So all you got to do is reach down, pull them out, put them on, right? Plan for it, right? If you're having a hard time getting your photos done after you get out of work, do it the night before. Instead of sitting down and watching Netflix for 2 hours, maybe just watch it for an hour, and the other hour get your photos done. So that way, by the time you get out of work, you can just jump right into listing. Those little things matter. Trust me, I've went through that. I did all that throughout when I was working my 9 to 5 still. I was scattered all over. I was coming home. Actually, before I got home, I was going to the thrift store, getting inventory, coming home, cleaning them, prepping them if they needed it, doing the photos, and then listing the items, right? And I said, man, this is bullshit. Because then after I did all that, I'm sitting there watching TV for 2 hours, 3 hours. I'm like, I'm just going to eliminate the TV. Now, you don't got to eliminate TV out of your daily ritual. That's just my choice, right? But it did help. Instead of doing that, I was prepping my items. I was doing the photography for the day before. And sometimes what that did is it gave me enough energy to wake up early in the morning and get some of my listings done before I even went to my 9 to 5. That way, when I got home, I didn't have to do as much, and then I could relax a little bit, right? That's what you do. You start figuring out little ways to maximize your 24. Right? I said it in a few videos ago. I don't know exactly how long. It might have been the end of last year, of how massively successful resellers, they're breaking their day down in multiple mini days, right? Because we think, okay, we got 24 hours in the day. I've done this a billion times. I got all day to do my listings. That is what's keeping you at the same level you're at now, right? Start thinking, look, I only got, even if it takes you, say it takes you 3 hours to do photos, right? It's some crazy number, right? And depending on how many items you're listing a day, it very well may, right? Say you're doing 10 items and you're just getting started and it takes you 3 hours for the photography, right? Instead of saying you got 24 hours to do that, say you got an hour. Even if it takes you longer than the hour, that will give you a fire up under your ass to reach towards, right? So it'll push you further. Now, if I sit here and I say, okay, right now it's almost 2 o'clock in the afternoon and I got until midnight to get my 30 items up. Well, then I might not even get started till freaking 7:30 at night, because then I could still get the 30 items up instead of getting a jump start and getting ahead of the game and crunching my numbers and looking at things like, hey, Justin, you got 30 minutes to get your photography done. And even if you got to set like a little timer, start setting a timer. See how long it actually takes you to do your photos, right? Some people, you ask, hey, how long does it take you to do your photos every day? I don't know. You you can't grow if you don't know how long things are taking you to do, right? If you can't figure out how long it's taking you to list your items, maybe that's one thing to work on for the next 3 weeks, right? Now, don't try to pick up all great habits right in the beginning and do them all, right? You'll overwhelm yourself, and it'll be so alien to you. You'll just say, man, fuck this. This is just too much, right? So I don't encourage that. For the example, the photography, set your items out, set a timer. Start snapping your photos. Now, don't take no shortcuts, because all you'll be doing is robbing yourself. Do your photos like you would, but doing it in an efficient manner. And see how long that actually takes you to do that, right? I think a stopwatch would be the best way to do that. Your phone's probably got one on it. All of our phones got one on it. If not, you can download an app for it. Trust me. Do your photos. Don't rush yourself, but be efficient, right? And see how long that takes you. That way you know how long it's going to take you in the morning to do it, in the afternoon, or in the evening, whenever you, or first thing some people start listing items at 12 o'clock at midnight, and they don't stop till 6 o'clock in the morning, 8 o'clock in the morning. Then they got the whole day to do whatever they want to do, right? I did that model a lot of different times, and here's what I'm going to tell you about the third shift model. I was much more efficient on third shift than I am first or second. Why? There's zero distractions. Nobody's saying, hey, Justin, we got to go here. And I'm not knocking anybody that needs a ride somewhere, or my lovely fiance. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying from 12 o'clock at night till 6 o'clock in the morning, 99% of the world's sleeping. Okay, so you're not going to get no distractions. Your phone ain't going to go ping. Yeah, you got your eyeballs. Some people are up late, right? Or some late nighters. But your phone there, your distractions ain't going to be there as much. So I want to say I was almost like 5 times more efficient on the third shift than I am during the day. So everything matters. So it is important that you know how long it takes you to do your photography, how long it takes you, what's your average speed per listing, right? Now, maybe when you first get started, you're not going to know your average speed, and I don't think you should fucking focus on that. You should focus on learning photos that actually show the detail of the item at different angles, with decent lighting. I say decent in the beginning because I hate it when people go out and spend $1,000 on a lighting system. You don't need that to get started, guys. I went to Walmart and I spent $20-some a piece for these lightings. I hung them from my ceiling and I'm good to go. That's it. No, I got the little 4-pronger lighting, 2 things. Those actually work really good for reselling, and I think I paid $20 a piece for them. So total, I might have $80 in lighting. And I don't even suggest that in the beginning. You could just get a couple of these, depending on the area you're in, right? Depending on your area. Maybe you already got a greatly lit up work area to list your items in. But people get focused too much on all that. Instead of doing that, okay, first of all, when you first start listing items, you suck at listing items. And that ain't me saying you suck right now. That's just truthful. I sucked ass at listing. I sucked so bad at women's clothing. People were messaging me saying, hey, that's not a woman's, that's actually a use. People were down like, oh, thanks, man. You just taught me something new, right? The feedback to actually, instead of me personalize that and getting upset about it, it actually taught me something new. So I didn't know anything about listing women's clothing. I didn't know the cuts. I didn't know whether it was a basic length shirt, a tunic, camisole, or what it was, right? I did not know. I didn't have any idea. So I had to learn all that. So in the beginning, you're probably shouldn't be timing yourself in your listings to see how long it takes, because that I don't even think is important in the beginning. It is not important in the beginning, matter of fact. What's important is you start learning how to list. Okay, that's the most important thing in the beginning. Now, for you advanced ones that's been doing it a while and you know how to list, yes, the timing is important, right? It is important to see on an average. I tell everybody it takes me between 3 to 6 minutes to list an item, 6 at the highest. The lowest I've ever done was maybe 2 minutes. That was deeply in my zone, but it takes me between 3 to 6 minutes to do a listing. And then you can figure out, once you got a number, you can figure out, okay, how long is it going to take me to list 35 items? How long is it going to take me to list 45 items? How long is it going to take me to list 80? How long is it going to take me to list 5? How long is it going to take me to 10? If you can get your listings down, this is why I picked the niche, right? Because I wanted to get efficient with my listing. If you can get your listings down to 3 to 6 minutes per listing, you can make some massive freaking growth on eBay, right? If you prioritize your time, right? We all got the same 24 hours in our day. Have you ever thought, why is there some resellers making millions and I'm only doing $30,000 a year? Well, that's what they're doing with their time. It's that they're realizing that everything matters, okay? The amount of time it takes you to list an item does matter when you're trying to scale, okay? the cost of your inventory does matter when you're trying to scale, right? If you go buy in bulk, buy in bulk. But we've seen some really resellers out there, guys, cherry pick everything they got, and they were doing freaking fantastic too, right? So, but everything does matter. When it comes to reselling, everything matters. When it comes to life, everything matters. Every result you got now is from something that either mattered or didn't matter to you in life. It's all habits and rituals. Habits and rituals either make you successful or unsuccessful, right? If you pick up a habit of watching TV 6 hours a day, well, I doubt you're going to have a side hustle, right? Because you're going to go to your 9 to 5 and then you're going to watch TV for 6 hours. And then you're going to sleep for 8. And that pretty much sums up your day, right? Now, if you got rid of that 6 hours of watching TV and maybe cut it back, and I wouldn't cut it drastically back, right? Maybe cut it back an hour. And on the hour, start a side hustle. The hour, get out the bed, get off the couch, get out however you watch your TV, and take some photos and list an item. I mean, don't think you're going to be a millionaire in a year, and just do it. And gradually you'll be like, oh man, I made some progress this month. I made an extra $80 this month. That might not be much to some people, but to other people, that's a lot of money, right? And that could have been in their consumer's bill. It could have been another, I was going to say 2 full tanks of gas, but depending on what you're driving, that might not even be a full tank of gas, right? With our gas prices they are. It's funny because my fiance works at a gas station, and I'll hear a guy come in and be like, $100 in fuel, and I'm just like, man, that's shit's batshit crazy. The $100 bill isn't shit anymore. Do you guys realize that? Do you guys and girls realize, like, the $100 bill is not? You used to be able to take a $100 bill into the grocery store when I was a kid, and you could fill the fucking cart up. You take a $100 bill to Walmart today, and you can still see the bottom of the cart. You can still see the wheels, right? Like, you can see through it. There's holes. There's barely anything in your cart is what I'm trying to get to. So the $100 bill ain't, our money is depreciating bad. But everything matters what you do. From the time you wake up in the morning till the time you go to bed, what you do throughout that time matters. And I believe that will impact your eBay business. I know for a fact it will. If you ever see somebody that never hits their snooze button, they wake up, they go to the gym, they come home, they eat, they got a healthy habit of eating, healthy habit of working out, healthy habit of educating themselves, and then they start something like reselling and they excel very fast, it's because they already have good habits instilled within them. A lot of us have good habits. A lot of us have bad habits. I'm one of them. I have both. Okay? I'm not talking bad habits like smoking a cigarette. Of course, that's a bad health habit for everybody, right? But I'm talking about habits like hitting the snooze button, sitting at the edge of the bed for 45 minutes before your feet start moving. Now, the older you get, it might take you a little bit longer to get moving, right? Putting things off, just gazing out into out your window and like daydreaming for 2 hours. Like, that's not healthy. I do think it's healthy for 30 minutes a day, right? To get yourself in a state of mind where you can just be free and not think about all the stresses of your day, right? I believe that's very healthy, and that's why I believe meditation helps a lot for people. But when it comes down to eBay, everything you've done, like if you have a habit of putting something off, and I'll worry about that next week, I'll worry about that, a couple days down the line, start getting rid of those habits, because that means, well, I'll just put off that customer until later on this evening, or maybe even tomorrow, right? I just put off the shipping until tomorrow. It don't matter. All that stuff will play a role in your eBay. This is why I said a while ago through my eBay videos, I said that eBay will tell you who you are. When you start reselling, it will tell you who you are. And that's what's scary. People don't want to know it's funny where people will maximize the good qualities about themselves. But when an employer asks you, okay, what's your bad qualities? You're like, shit, I don't want to say nothing. I don't want nobody to know that I got bad qualities, right? But we all got bad qualities. We're human beings of feelings. We're creatures of feelings, right? The great thing is, you're a human being. 400 trillion to 1 odds that you and I even exist. Like, that's a fucking miracle, right? So you have this eBay plant. You're a miracle already. So any progress you make in life is success, right? If you start with 0 items in your inventory, and by the end of the week you got 10, that's success, right? So don't predicate your success on another person's level and where they're at in eBay. I've done that a lot, guys, and that was a bad habit. Like, why ain't I caught up to them yet? Come on, man. Yeah, I started watching them when they were 5 years in. I can't catch them if they keep going. It's a matter of fact, it's almost impossible unless I hire 6 times the amount of people that they have to catch them, right? So don't think like that. That's crippled me in a lot of different areas throughout my reselling journey. But it really is. It's boiled down to your habits and your rituals on a daily basis. So when people say, "Hey, what's the hack to getting good at reselling?" Hey, your habits and your rituals. And then people are like, "Well, that's not what I wanted to hear. That's not going to." Here's what I think automatically when somebody wants the shortcut, or when they want the hack. They're looking for shortcuts already. They're going to fail. That's just the truth. If you see somebody on YouTube like, "Man, what's the hack to get there, man, real fast?" You're already looking for ways to cut corners. You're not going to make it. You can't cut corners in business. And those businesses that do cut corners, it unfolds somewhere else, and usually they go under. So don't think about cutting corners. Think about getting as good at it as you can, right? Get as good at it as you can. Like, my level might not be where your level is. You might be able to go 10 times further than me. But that's okay. That's what makes you unique, right? And that's what makes me unique. I might not be able to be capable of doing that yet, right? But I think everybody can reach whatever goal and vision you have throughout reselling, right? I've talked a lot about that too, your vision and how important it is, because that matters too, right? People be like, oh, "I don't want to do goals; those are boring." Well, that matters too. Everything you set up matters. It is really simple to grab a pad of paper and make a checklist. Okay, I'm going to wake up at this time without hitting the snooze button. Check. You start getting these little wins first thing in the morning, and you make more progress throughout your day, right? It's all about, I'm a firm believer, it's about winning your morning. If you can win your morning, the first 15 minutes, you put something positive into your head. First 30 minutes, whatever you want to do, you put something positive in your head. You write down a gratitude list, something that makes you feel good, instead of clicking on CNN and hearing all the gossip and the negative world talk and all this bullshit, right? That's what people do. People will wake up and watch the news, and 90% of the news is negative, and then you expect to have a positive day. We are creatures that absorb everything we absorb, right? We start building beliefs in, right? Like we would hope our government will be telling the truth, but that's a big bullshit lie, right? We all know that, but you wake up and you watch the news, and they predict what goes into your mind, right? And then you expect to have a good day. Why don't you just wake up and say, "Hey, fuck the world. The world's burning down. And it's a piece of shit," right? And now I'm going to go attack it. You're not going to do that good that day, right? So I do believe getting yourself in a powerful state of mind in the morning matters. It all matters, right? Your routines matter. I've never listened to one successful person ever that I've done research on that says they don't have a morning ritual. And it's got something to do with the gratitude list, a walk in the morning, some type of exercise, some type of meditation, some type of self-gratifying, or what do they call that? Like your I ams list, which reassures that you're a good person, you're lovable, you're worthy, all these things, right? All these things matter. Now, I'm not telling you got to write a gratitude list, but I'll tell you what, 99% of the people that I see succeed big in life that I've done research on for the past 6 years, going into 6 years, they all write a gratitude list. So that's got to mean something, don't it? You think it means nothing probably because you don't think that, how is one little piece of paper and what I'm writing down on it going to change my existence and change my perspective of life? Well, how's that working out for you now? Like, have you done it yet? If you haven't done it yet, why not give it a try? That's my opinion, right? Like, I used to be very shallow-minded and kind of self-centered and like my beliefs is right? I used to be like that really bad. And then I'm like, okay, what results has this got me this far? Okay, prison, tough times in school, fights, addiction for 20, 25 years, right? Unhappiness. I wasn't satisfied. A job that paid real low. Like that's not where I wanted to be, and that's where I wound up, right? I'm like, okay, well, I got to shift something. I got to start doing something different. So I started listening to positive people that are successful and started following some of their rituals and principles in life. And it is batshit crazy on what one little thing in your morning can shift your entire perspective of the day. I'm willing to do that, right? I was at a point in my life where I was so disappointed in where I was at. I was willing to do anything in a positive manner that was not illegal to start making myself feel better in life and getting different results. I believe that's almost what you got to do in eBay. If you've been reselling for a long time and you're like kind of borderline, you're maxed out. Let's just say that, right? Like you're at a plateau. You don't feel like you get any further. You got to get so sick and tired. I tell you, indulge in that for 6 months to a year. Like feel that. Let it make you feel like shit, right? Almost until the point where you get so upset about where you're at and where you settled that you start taking action. That's what happened to me in life. I got so tired of being a drug addict. I got so tired of drinking. I got so tired of the results of my behaviors that I just had enough was enough. You ever hear that saying, enough was enough? Enough was enough. And I started searching. I started Google. I started YouTube. And how can I change my life? It sounds batshit crazy and it sounds silly. That's what I was doing. How can I change my life? I'm getting bad results. How can I get better? I started watching these videos and actually applying what they were talking about in my life, and my whole life shifted, right? I've had the negative thoughts on eBay, and then I go back to those videos and I rewatch some videos, and it rewires my circuits, right? Because I wasn't born. Nobody is ever born a loser. Okay, you make yourself into one, right? Nobody was ever born to be in poverty. Now, I'm not saying you weren't born into a household that's poverty, but just because you lived in poverty doesn't mean that middle class can't come from you, right? Like, that doesn't mean that you can't excel that. And matter of fact, that's what our family or our parents should want, right? They should want to see you do better. I always think about the kids and think about, I want to see them do better than we have in life, right? But everything really, when you really boil it down and sum it up, every habit you have matters and is going to impact your eBay journey. Now, it might sound deep and depth and all psychological, right? But it's truthful. 90% of your success on eBay is psychological. The platform's there. Like, I don't think people get that. Like, you're not an alien to eBay. Like, they're not going to alienate you and be like, no, fuck Susie. I don't like her, so she's not going to make us sales this year. No, it don't happen. The success is already there. It's a platform that millions of people are succeeding on. So it's not like, it's just probably not for me. It's your habits that's getting you to give up. That's what it is. When people quit, it's your habits that you formed somewhere throughout your life. Maybe you've seen it in childhood. I don't know. I'm not a clinical psychologist. I'm not going to diagnose your situation, right? I'm having a hard enough time trying to diagnose my own, right? So it's hard for me to go out there and try to do that with somebody else. But it is literally your habits and rituals, what you decide to do. I used to have a really bad habit of giving up on everything. I give up on everything. Everything I started, I've said this in many of my other videos, I would start something and then I'd get bored with it, or no, what would really happen is a tough moment would come up where I couldn't get past it. I'd throw the fucking wrench and I'd walk away and go start another project. And then I'd have 99 projects started and none finished, right? That's a bad habit, right? Instead, work through it. And that's what I told my fiance when I got started on this. I said, look, I gave up on everything in life, right? And this I'm not going to give up on, regardless how hard it's got. And there's been times, ladies and gentlemen, that it's been very hard. There's been times that very hard, broke as fuck. Like, spending every dollar that's coming in back at the thrift store. Like, reinvent, like, borrowing money to make money, baby. You know what I'm saying? There's been many a times that I borrow money from my family to go and get inventory. You know what I mean? Like, it's not all going to be a cakewalk for anybody. But I do believe it's your habits and rituals that you do every day. Just like it is the people you surround yourself with. If you surround yourself with people that are not trying to prosper in life, well, then some of those habits are going to rub off on you, right? You're going to see that. It's going to be okay. All right, I got to wrap this video up. I am ready we got to make a couple errands, but stay tuned in for the later one. For those of you that are on YouTube, and subscribe so much, and if you haven't, please consider. I'm doing 2 videos a day for the next 365 days, which is going to make 730 videos. And then I'm gonna do something on top of that the following year to increase it, and I will be increasing my background and certain things too. This year, you guys will be able to see me actually listing items. I'm gonna get another camera, and I'll be able to show you my motions of what I do and why I picked a niche and how it became efficient for me and how it can become efficient for you too. It's your boy Flippinstoop. You guys have a rad day.